Hey everybody, I'm back, and this is another anime reaction. Today I'm going to be talking about an anime film, and the only other anime film I think I've talked about so far is Ninja Scroll. But I just recently watched one called Redline. It was produced, I think, in 2009. And was obviously released in the U.S. a little bit later. I kind of heard about it as a little trailer to some other anime I was watching, I believe, and I thought it looked really interesting. The first thing that looked really interesting about it was the fact that the animation style is really unique. But aside from that, the plot is actually pretty simple. It's about this it's a sci-fi genre anime film. It's basically sets up this idea that there's this one big galactic race, and there's all these people, competing in it. And it's called Redline. And your main character is basically this guy who looks like I almost think he kind of looks like John Travolta from Grease a little bit with his hair and stuff. But his name's JP, and he's been dreaming about racing and winning and going fast, basically kind of all of his life. And Redline is the place to be. And so the main idea of the story is pretty simple. It's about these unique racers, who are celebrities in their own right across the galaxy, are racing in this ultimate contest and this ultimate race called Redline. And unfortunately, they set up the Redline race on a planet that doesn't want to be associated with Redline, and so you get this tension between this planet, which is called Robo World, and this Redline race, group that they're trying to basically do the race illegally on this planet. And so that creates a lot of the tension and a lot of the action. But primarily, it's really just about this race. You also have connections. You kind of learn each about each character involved in the race. JP's got like a childhood buddy who basically didn't really. He kind of talked him into some shady deals, and it's one of those things where it may come back to bite him in the ass later throughout the story. But anyway, so it really is it's kind of like this big race anime. But I will say, for the few things it does have going for it, even though the plot seems pretty simple, I think it actually has pretty good character development. You get to learn a little bit about each racer, and I mean, just a little bit about their motivations. There's a couple characters you learn more of. There's JP, like the main character, like you said. You learn more about him, obviously. But kind of his love interest slash rival is a gal named Sanoshi, and she's another racer that he gets involved with, and of course they have to race each other, so that's part of the tension too. But you learn more about her motivations and stuff, but you learn about these racers stuff. But the thing to me is ultimately the most appealing, I think, is one, it's got a really awesome soundtrack. It really brings this high level pace to everything. I mean, and you want that out of a race. You want that high level, high adrenaline kind of idea when you're watching something where somebody's racing, and you definitely get that. Now, you pair this with the technical level of the animation. I will say this is probably one of the prettiest and most pop art inspired animes I've seen in a long, long time. The colors are bright, the movements are great. Everything is, even though exaggerated at times, it really does kind of supplant this idea of motion. And when the idea is you have this race, everything kind of stretches and pulls as it's being animated, and you really get into it. I mean, and it's fast paced, really fast paced. I mean, I wouldn't say there's really any slow parts in the film. There may be some little parts in between, but the pacing is very, very good. There's not anything to really throw you off completely or anything like that. But I really do love the animation and the story itself. I mean, it's like you get all these vulgar characters who just like out to get each other. I mean, I read a review of it earlier, and somebody compared it to Death Race 2000, which it kind of is, in that extent. But it's like anime version, like galactic anime Death Race, and it really it leaves nothing behind. Again, you could probably say it may need more plot or something like that. Again, it's one of those things I encourage all of you to at least check it out. It pulled me in pretty quick, and that I think is part of the appeal. Again, it's a beautiful anime. If anything, you can just watch it for the artistry. If the story's not, like I said, not the most original in the world, but it really does pull you in with just the culmination of everything, the soundtrack, the animation, these characters and everything else. And it's not very long, about 100 minutes or so. So it's definitely something to check out if you can. I would highly recommend it. I was not disappointed. I kind of watched this one on a whim, and it's one of those things where I'm really happy I did. So if you get a chance, check out Redline. I highly recommend it. This is obviously a pretty short thing since it is a film. I don't really want to ruin anything for you, so I'm going to let you check it out yourselves. Got any questions or comments, leave it below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.